And personally, I low-key like to be yelled at. You know, sometimes I might piss you off just so you yell. You know, I think this Blackberry Kush done officially kicked in. Can y'all tell my eyes feel low and they burning a little bit? Shit. On part one, I told y'all I was gonna have to split this in 2 parts because that first part I was only halfway through and it was already an hour, dog. Brazy. But I told y'all I was gonna have a lot to say, so we about to get right into this joint and go ahead and finish this up. All right, so with that being said, I'm not gonna hold this up. Let's get straight to the video.
Oh, on the flip side, Ezee also identified that there's ways that you communicate with her that light her fire, that can feel combative or argumentative, that create that need for her to feel like she has to raise her voice to you. So are you aware, when you heard her say that, did that feel like that was truth to you? Are you aware of that?
That I can be argumentative sometimes. Yeah, I definitely would say.
If you're tone sensitive, you're definitely an argumentative person, because people who are tone sensitive are going to argue over tone, and that makes them obviously more argumentative than somebody who just argues over a differing of opinions, because tone can come across, tone is interpretive. You know what I'm saying? Somebody can say something and not mean it to sound insensitive, but you take it like they meant it to be insensitive. So nah. Argumentative is a great word.
I can agree that I can be argumentative.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to put words in your mouth. If you were to kind of re-express for you, like what's the thing in your day-to-day communication that you're like, I kind of want to see this change?
Yeah. I feel like something that I complain about the most in this relationship is my feelings being hurt. I think that with her, I have to be gentle, and the things that she says, like, it's not that it's like a never. So when she's like, all right, be soft, be this, be that, I'm like, okay, I can do those things. But when it comes to my needs and my feelings and being heard, they aren't reciprocated. There's always a but. There's always a because. There's always, well, you know, maybe you shouldn't feel that way. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, it feels like my feelings are being belittled 90% of the time in this relationship, to where it's just like, dang, like every time she expresses herself and what she feels, a lot of the times it can be an argument, but a lot of times it's like, okay, I hear you. I feel like majority of the times I express my feelings, it always ends up in an argument, you know?
You know what? I can see that. I can see that. And the reason why I say that is because this is not in defense of Natalie. It's only an explanation. Her dynamic prior to Ezee was male-female by default. And all of my men in my audience can agree. By default, men who are in relationships with women, the woman's emotions tends to be catered to the most, right? Let's just call a spade a spade. I know that there are healthy, balanced relationships out there where the woman caters to the man's emotions and she cares and da da da. But in general, the man has to cater to the woman's emotions, but his emotions are not necessarily catered to. With that being said, that means that Natalie is conditioned to have her emotions catered to, but not necessarily catered to Ezee's emotions, because Ezee is the masculine energy in their relationship. That is something that Natalie has to work toward changing that, because you have to understand, and she has to remember that Ezee is a woman. In the same way you want your emotions to be considered, she wants her emotions to be considered. She wants her feelings to be validated just the way you want your feelings to be validated. Also, with that being said, what goes hand in hand is Ezee has to recognize when you date women, because Ezee said that she only dates straight women. When you date women that are used to being in relationships with men, baby, you got to understand they're coming with the conditioning. They're coming conditioned to be the feminine energy in the relationship. And though you are in a relationship as a feminine energy too, they're still expecting you to come with the masculine energy. That's the thing. That's what makes it, again, I told y'all in the beginning in part one, I was reluctant to date any woman who identifies as straight, because it's like, you're not going to get what you think that you want from me. And I think that that's, you know, something, it's like a lot of people, that's why I also don't label myself like stud and stuff like this, because you're going to be disappointed. You're going to think that I'm more, if I say I'm a stud, you're going to think I'm way more masculine than what I am. You come over here and we're going to be wearing the same drawers and bras. Like, we in the same drawers and bras, bitch. Okay. So I can't, you have to, Ezee has to take into consideration the fact that you choosing straight women, and straight women come with the conditioning that their feelings matter and your feelings don't. And it's good that they're saying these things out loud, but again, you got to make those certain allowances. And then, like I said, on Natalie's side, she also have to understand, yeah, I get that you are used to your feelings being prioritized because you're the woman, but baby, so is she. And since you agree to be in a relationship with her, you must give to her what she gives to you. It's not the same as being in a relationship with a man. Although technically, if you were in a healthy relationship with men, you should be giving to them what they're giving to you and vice versa. But I ain't even going to get into that. Because I don't believe that there are... their relationships are better based on gender specifics. I personally think that they're better based on the two people that are in them. But that's just me. So with this being said, yeah, that's I can see that being a issue for them, is that Natalie is used to her feelings being considered because of her conditioning of being in hetero relationships. And then Ezee not making the allowance or understanding that, hey, if you're going to deal with a straight woman, bro, you got to realize that she's going to come with some conditioning that means that she expects her feelings to be prioritized over yours. That's what it is.
You know what I'm saying? And that sucks to feel like, dang, all right, how should I express myself and my feelings in this relationship without it getting into an argument, even though it's me expressing myself, you know? And that's where it typically goes. How is it that you're upset about, you're arguing with me about what I feel? You know, instead of just not justifying, but understanding and catering to that feeling, you know? And that is a huge, huge reason why, like, this part of our relationship affects me romantically.
I want to gloss over that, and then I want you to get more specific, because I think what Natalie did for you just now is gave you something very tangible and actionable that you can work on. Okay. Which is good and helpful. Yeah. But you're saying, when I give you things to work on, the way that you respond doesn't give me confidence that I can be honest with you. Yeah. But I also kind of want to know what specifically is something that you're like, yeah, when I say this is what I want to focus on. But I have a rule of thumb when it comes to that, because it's very difficult to answer your question. Like, why does someone get upset that I'm upset? Because we go into fight or flight. You know, that person attacks you, and then all of a sudden now your defenses are up, your ego is up, like you're no longer responding from a place of rationale, like you're in protective mode. I think a good thing to be mindful of is when that happens for you, to be like, okay, right now I'm defensive when my person needs me to be receptive. And I use the analogy of, imagine, Natalie, you're home and you're inside, you're watching your favorite TV show, right? And Natalie comes in and she is soaking wet. And she's like, where were you? Easy. Like, where have you been? You're supposed to pick me up. I was outside in the rain. Now I'm soaking wet. You're mad because she came in really aggressive. But also, she's the one who's wet right now. She's the one who's disappointed. So your first priority has to be like, let's get you in dry clothes. Let me apologize to you because you're the person.
That's what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? You got to choose to be offended. If somebody comes in and, you know, they're upset because you messed up, you got to take that into context. You got to take that into consideration. Stop being so damn sensitive. Personally, I low-key like to be yelled at. You know, sometimes I might piss you off just so you yell. I think this blackberry kush done officially kicked in. Can y'all tell my eyes feel low and they burning a little bit? Shit. But for real, I think that for me, like, I personally like to argue. Not like for real, but like it's a turn on for me. I like to see you angry. I love it. Oof. Anyway, I ain't saying nothing important at this point.
Really been impacted right now. And then after you're dry and you're settled and you're calm, now I can come to you and say, hey, I know that I let you down, disappointed you, and there was a miscommunication, but the way you brought it to me was hurtful. And I think that in mind, sometimes whoever comes with the problem first, see that person as the person who's been outside cold, wet, and irritated. And even though the way that they brought it to you may not be the most comfortable way, just get that person dry and warm first, and then you can bring your thing in.
Oh, I love that. You better give it. I love that. Nah, that's real though. That's basically how I do. I never broke it down in that context to myself or like, you know, consciously, but like, that's literally what I do is like, I take into consideration their perception of the situation. And that's how I'm able to have that 5-second delay where I'm like, wait a minute. is it worth even giving that energy, or should I just understand that the reason why they're frustrated, the reason why they're bringing this energy to me is because of something that I did, you know what I'm saying, whether intentionally or unintentionally, you still should take ownership of it, you get what I'm saying? If you shoot somebody by accident, you still not gonna apologize? That's brazy. That's brazy, bitch.
Oh, that was the best example I've heard in a really long time.
Yeah.
And it was a great example of how she deals with things. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, not trying to be funny, like that really touched the spot. And I was like, dang, that's what I feel like, coming in wet all the time. And it's just like, well, why are you mad? Wait, why are you yelling? You know, it's like, well, damn, I'm out here soaking wet. Like, that's so crazy you said that. I almost got emotional. That's how I feel.
That's a hard thing to put into practice, though, because human nature, when somebody says something to us that can feel like an attack, our natural response. So we can remind each other this analogy in that moment to give that person some space to switch over into a calm and connect mode. But that's just a tool for you guys to use. And if you both can subscribe to it, it can be really powerful for relationships.
Yeah.
Anyways, but going back to her getting something specific, she gave you something specific. What's one thing that you're like, I'd like you to work on this, and working on this would allow us to get a lot more peace out of our relationship?
It was just like that example just gave exactly what I mean. Like, whenever I'm coming to you with an issue about anything, I tiptoe about it. You know what I'm saying? Because I know you're sensitive. So whenever I come to you with an issue, I want to feel like you're going to be receptive enough to be like, oh, okay, I hear your issue. But not say, okay, I hear your issue, but this is that. I just want you to be receptive and be like, you know what? Wow, I didn't know you had this issue with me. Or wow, dang, like now I can see it like that. Or dang,
I can see where Ezee is coming from. What she's saying is that whenever I bring a concern about our relationship to you, I don't want you to get in defensive mode. I don't want you to start lawyering me and start pleading your case. I want you to hear what I'm saying and understand how I'm feeling, and let's just deal with that. You know, don't automatically assume it's an attack, because if we can just deal with my emotions, we can both come to the conclusion, maybe we'll both come to the conclusion that it's literally just my perception and not necessarily your intentions or your actions. And so, like, that's the part where you have to calm down, and you just gotta, like, slow walk that shit. You gotta slow walk it. You got, because when you respond and you just want to get mad because they brought something to you, it's like that's when things are gonna go volatile. But take the time to consider what I'm saying and why I'm saying it, man.
You know, this was affecting you.
Yeah.
You know, I want to work on that, or you know what I'm saying. I just feel like there's always an if and or but and because.
Yeah.
You know, so if you can do that every time,
defensive.
or at least try to do that whenever I come to you with an issue. It will make me feel like my feelings are being acknowledged. You know what I'm saying? Because even when I'm not coming off aggressively, we still end up arguing, even if it's a sweet way. You know what I'm saying? Because it's about, you make it about you. I feel like you make it about you instead of the overall bigger picture. Because it's like, okay, well, what am I feeling right now? That's not true. If this is Natalie, you're being receptive. This is what I feel. Like, I feel like, well, that's not true to me. Well, that's not what I feel. Well, since you tell me what you feel, let me make it about what I feel, what I've been feeling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So is that specific enough for you?
I guess, yeah. I feel like it's kind of still a little broad, but like it's not like behavioral things I can specifically like pinpoint, like, I remember when I've done this. But yeah, I feel like I can definitely take in what you're saying. You're just saying like be more like open to hearing you out.
Yeah, just listen without the intent to rebut. That's what she's saying. Listen without the intent to argue. Listen without the intent to defend yourself. Just listen. That's it. Just hear me out. Listen to my feelings. Listen to my emotions. And let's just deal with that. And if we both come to the conclusion, like I said, we both come to the conclusion that I just misinterpreted or, you know, misperceived what you were saying or doing, then that's cool. I can take that. But, you know, if it's legit and we find that, you know, your actions are causing me to feel this way for real and legitimately, then let's deal with that, you know. So yeah, I feel what Ezee's saying.
And receptive,
and being receptive to you when you have an issue with something.
Yeah, and just but all that ties into how argumentative you are, and you know your personality and how you are is like very strong. You know what I'm saying? And it shows, and you know that about yourself. So just being a little bit more passionate and soft, you know, because at the end of the day, I know you're used to dealing with guys and you vocalize like, dang, a guy would never do that. But it's just like, I am a woman. Same thing that you want is kind of like what I want. That's soft, sweet.
That's what I said.
You know?
Is defensiveness a good word to utilize here?
That she's defensive?
Yes.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Nikki Diamonds. That's the word I use too. Defensive. She's coming across defensive.
That's kind of an actual point of having a defensive personality, because when we're defensive, it's difficult to be empathetic.
Yeah.
And be sympathetic.
Yep.
So for you, when you hear that, is that something that you acknowledge and want to work on? And if so, what can you offer Ezee to say, like, this is something that I do want to fix for you?
Yeah, I feel like I could definitely see how, being defensive of a situation, regardless of the reasons that why I become defensive about certain things, I can see how that doesn't feel compassionate to you, or doesn't make you feel like heard. And like going back to Shan's like example of like, all right, well, you're cold, caught in the rain, so let's talk about that first. I think that that's a great like way to look at things, because I do find like I can think of specific examples where times like that have happened where that wasn't my first intention. It was to like make sure you're good first and dry and warm, because I felt like, whatever the reason might be, it's not, my intentions wouldn't be like, oh, let me make sure you're warm and stuff. But that could probably help diffuse the situation a lot faster.
For real.
I do think though, one part of what she said is like something really good for us both to take in, and that is like, eventually you can bring up like, hey, now that you're dry and warm.
Now that is real. Now that I took your emotions and your feelings into consideration and your concerns into consideration, can we address how you brought this to me, so that, in the future, even if you are in the same circumstance, i.e. caught in the rain, blah, 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 whatever, you're made to feel uncomfortable or whatever the case may be, you bring it to me in a way that neither one of us are put in the position to choose violence or choose a volatile response. You know what I'm saying? Like, we could just talk about it as adults. You know what I mean? And you're entitled to feel how you feel, but people always, I remind people all the time, emotions are meant to be felt, not followed. Don't let them influence your actions. You feel them for context so that you understand how to interpret a situation. But you can't be led by that shit, man. That's dangerous, bro. And reckless. Emotions are reckless. They are reckless.
Let's not handle things in this specific way, because I know that times where I've done that, you'll say I've made it about me now, where it's like, even in the conversation, if I did try to cater to you, then I'm like, towards the end, like, oh, but, babe, like, the way that you said this, I felt like that was really nasty towards me, or whatever the case may be. I'd rather you not, now you're making it about you. Like, I feel like any conversation, we should both be open to hearing each other out. Or even if you're the one that brought it up, you should still be able to hear something that they said in the conversation, because it's not just about venting, it's about communicating. Right. Overall, I definitely could say that, like, I can see how verbally making sure that you know that I'm hearing you and that I care can make the world a difference in a conversation between us when you're bringing something to my attention.
There's actually this quiz I want you guys to do. We don't probably time to do it here, but you should do it offline. So the same person who made love languages made apology languages, and acknowledging that people feel resolved in different ways. Yeah. There's 5 apology languages.
Wow. I'm having to look at it. Apology languages. That's deep. That's deep. And that's real. And that's what I meant. I guess I alluded to that actually earlier when I was talking about my recovery time, like how in part 1, I was talking about like how I recover. And then I had to learn that, I recover super fast, but if I got into an altercation with somebody else, they may not be, over it as quickly as I'm over it. And I have to give them that space to do that in a way that is, me understanding, I guess, their and my apology language without actually understanding it. I'm gonna have to look into that apology language thing though, because that's basically what I was trying to say without understanding what I was trying to say. Is that you can't think that what gave you resolution or what gave you resolve in a situation is what's gonna work to give the other person resolve and a resolution in a situation. They may need this, that, and the third, and you only needed this. Or the third, or just the that. You know what I'm saying?
3 are really different. I think they were trying to keep with the 5-3 theme. But like genuinely repenting is important for people. A makeup act might be important for people. Or for some people, they want someone to take responsibility. So doing that quiz independently and then being like, hey, I know that you said you're sorry, but what I really need to feel like resolved from an issue, like for me, I am an act of repentance. Like if you broke my camera, buy me a new one. I don't care how sorry you are or how much you didn't intend. Like that's not what's going to matter to me. I'm like, do a makeup act. Whereas my husband, Jared, is take responsibility. It's so much more important for me because I could go out and buy him a new camera, but if I never said, that camera meant a lot to you and I was really careless with it. And I really need to do a better job of ensuring that I am careful with your property.
I'm an accountability person.
He's never going to feel good about that new camera.
I'm an accountability. In hearing that, I'm an accountability person. When it comes to an apology, the act matters if what you damaged was like something physical or property or something like that. That does matter to me. But I still, for me, what's more important is that you take responsibility for what you did, you know what I'm saying, and how that affected me. That's my thing.
Wow, that's me. 100%.
I can see that about Ezee.
I'm literally like that. I feel like she's like that with you. Like you're like buy me a new camera.
Active.
What was it?
It's like an act. I can't remember the actual term for it. It's like an act of restitution, I think it is. But essentially, it's like a makeup act.
But I feel like I'm like that too. But more so, I'm curious. I will take this quiz because I'm really curious to hear what the other ones are because it is about the act to me. But that can get old for me if you just know to do something to like, oh, I broke this, I'm gonna buy you a new one. Like that wouldn't be enough for me either. I want to know that you're
right now. You're just breaking my shit and treating my stuff like what, whatever, because you can just replace it. I don't want that either. I want you to consider me. That's why for me it would be take responsibility or accountability.
I'm going to continue to do those things because it's one thing to
be clear, it's not always like a purchasing thing. I mean, doing the quiz is important because it could be something where it's like, hey, like I didn't compliment you on your big day. You came home, you made an incredible speech. I didn't talk about it. For me, it's like acknowledge you didn't talk about it, but what's really going to make me feel better is the next time I can see that you did the action. Or that same day, instead you actually take the time and say, here's what I really thought. So if I'm bringing something up, it's because I want to see that action fixed. Versus I don't need to feel like down the line or I'm so sorry. That to be said, that's kind of an offline thing. I think that acknowledging, how we just did, making it really small, because sometimes problems can be big, making them as small as possible. Like, here's the next thing I want you to work on for us. And then also too, ensuring the person heard you and feels heard by you. And that apology part, kind of to your point about, we already had this discussion hours ago. Why are you still mad? It could be that you didn't speak Ezee's particular apology language. You apologized in your way.
Right. Okay.
I think that's a big thing though with you too. That apologies mean a lot to me. And over the years that you've worked on it so much, but you gotta continue working on it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's hard. She's grew up in a family where it's like, all right, we stick together. Anything outside of that, we don't really care. You know what I'm saying? Which is so understandable. You know what I'm saying? That
you go as far as saying we don't really care.
Not like we don't really care, but that loyalty and love that I've seen that she has for her family is so admirable versus anybody else. It's just like, okay, it's cool. So I feel like with her, one thing that I always complain about is like, dang, like responsibility is like something that you really need to work on, and being apologetic. That's one of my love languages. As you can see, whenever I do actions, like, I'm sorry, baby, what do you need me to do? Okay, what actions do I need to take to show you that I'm sorry? You know what I'm saying? So that's a huge thing of my love language that I think can be better.
And then lastly, I don't know if we want to make time for this, but we actually did get to loosely do this quiz. But I have a quiz. It's called Turn On Triggers People Should Do. But in essence, it's similar to this. It's like what we're really doing in all of these conversations, just becoming more mindful and less on autopilot. So I think a big, hard place.
Be conscious in conversation, be conscious in life, man. Don't just be flying through this bitch, waking up and living and just like letting the moments pass and then you go to sleep. You just like, no. I always say make today intentional. Like live intentionally, make your choices intentionally. Like everything you do should be intentional. Every single thing that you do. And I think that too often people just kind of coast through life and just like, let their choices present themselves to them. It's like, nah, man, go out there and create the choices that you want to choose from.
do that is when it comes to sex.
Because
we're so used to, like, when it's good, it just naturally happens. The thing with turn on triggers is acknowledging that as you become more intertwined and there's less opportunities for that mystery, that you have to be more intentional about making passion rather than passion being a given. And turn on triggers is a way to address, like, what makes you feel hot and bothered? And I want to do that thing to even get you in that space before I try coming on to you. And interestingly, you both found that you are turned on by the exact same thing from each other. That you feel the other person's not giving to you.
And that's
being desired.
You know, in my way, I want to feel desired. I want you to compliment me, tell me I'm sexy every day. And like, you know, treat me like I'm daddy. Like, I don't want to feel like I'm just daddy in the bedroom. I want to feel like I'm daddy all day. You know, not, girl, stop, be quiet. Like, you know what I'm saying? It needs to be like, all right, if I say something, it'd be cool. You'd be like, all right, baby, I got you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Instead of always being argumentative, always like.
And see, that's another thing is the dynamic. Good job, Ezee. I like that she articulated that she wants to be daddy all day. And then what she's saying is that, you know, the same respect that you give me in the bedroom, in the same, I don't want to say submission because, you know, people be taking it the wrong way. But the same way that she submits to her in the bedroom, she's basically saying, I want you to, like, submit to me like that all day. Not being passive or subservient, but just submitting. I get it.
No, I'm not going to say that. You're not going to talk to me like that. You know, it's like, all right, not that you're a yes man, but you're somebody that can turn me on in a way like, all right, I don't have to say something this time, you know? And let me know that I am desirable and sexy and attractive and fine as fuck, you know, because sometimes it makes me feel like, I feel like, you know, I'm not attractive. Maybe I gain weight, or is it this, or I'm constantly, let me take my breath, like she doesn't compliment me, you know? So that would be nice.
Okay, well, thanks for expressing that.
I'll
definitely
she was
work
very
on that
honest
more.
and transparent
And
there.
it's crazy because I
know because I got uncomfortable.
And know that was like such a big thing for you. I know that you've mentioned like a few times, like, oh, you didn't tell me I look good, like, or did you like this outfit? Like you didn't, but I didn't know that was like as big of a thing for you. But now that you're identifying that, like I feel like I definitely can take that in and work on that a lot more. Because there's a lot of times I do look at you and I'll be like, oh, she looks so good over there. And I wouldn't say it because it might not come naturally to me to say it. But now that I know it would mean something to you, I definitely want to make the like attempts to say those type of things more.
Thank you.
I feel like on my end, I think just like taking more action. Like you taking more action. I think when it comes to like verbally telling me how beautiful I am and things like that, that means a lot to me. It makes me feel so confident in this relationship, but it doesn't make me feel desired, you know, because it doesn't translate.
She wants you to throw up on the kitchen counter, Ezee. She wants you to throw up on the, push up against the Frigidaire. Oh, y'all got a wine cellar, you know, push into the wine cellar, open up a bottle of wine and pour it all over and drink it off or something. I don't know. Look, she wants some freaky shit and she wants you to do it unprovoked, unannounced, and unexpected. That's what she wants. She wants all the uns. She wants all the uns, okay? She wants you to take her, throw her up on that counter, and do all the things that you're not supposed to do in the kitchen to her. That's what she wants you to do. That's what she wants you to do, man. That's what she wants you to do. She don't want you to just say it. She wants you, if you want to, and here's the thing too, because I heard what Ezee said about wanting to be treated like daddy all day. If you want to be treated like daddy all day, you got to act like daddy all day. Okay. If you want Natalie to, you know, give you that submitted behavior and like submit to you and give you that daddy energy, baby, you gotta do things like come up behind her and just throw her up on that counter and just like slack. Okay? You gotta do the things. Yes, that's what sex sounds like to me. You have to do the things, okay? You have to do the things. So it's a two-way street and you both got cause. Figure it out.
to romance and sex and things like that. Like you might be able to tell me, oh, you're so beautiful all the time. But if that doesn't make you want to tear my clothes off or just do some really romantic, sweet things to set the mood.
She wants the kitchen counter.
Almost just.
She wants the kitchen counter. She wants the kitchen counter. She wants the kitchen counter.
It's like having a compliment, like from my mom, because my mom tells me I'm beautiful all the time too.
Ouch!
See what she just did?
I don't mean like in an offensive way, but I'm just saying
it feels platonic, not passionate.
Yes, platonic, not passionate. Do you get it?
Am I like a mother to you?
No, but no, that's what that's a great way of summarizing. It feels very platonic, not necessarily passionate. It's like, wow, she thinks I'm beautiful. So I don't care. I walk around the house with my hair crazy because I know she still thinks I'm beautiful, which is so great to feel that like confidence in this relationship. But I do want to feel like there's that passion
sexy
for
too,
me as well.
Is that surprising to you? Did you know that she needed more of that, like?
Yeah, I did, because that's how I am naturally, and that's how I was in the beginning of the relationship. And because of all these things that we are going through, I feel like I've lacked that. You know what I'm saying? So I know it. I've done it. I've seen it. I just got to get back in the groove of everything that we talked about so it can be there. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I want to do.
Yeah. Great. Well, I think this was great.
It's amazing.
This is so good. Thank you so much, Shan.
Thank you for sharing. I think this was such an eye-opener. I learned a lot. It was so beautiful to watch two of you communicate. The trick is to do this without a person and millions of other people watching. Because whenever we have that, that ideal of like, how are people perceiving me? That's kind of what we're talking about too, that comfortability. This is not a comfortable environment to be in. So how do we take this
and duplicate it
when we're alone?
And make it real.
Yeah, that's so true.
Put in the
work.
work.
We should always put on a camera. We should start doing that. No, but we don't have to post it. But I wonder if that would be helpful.
That'd be hard to think about a camera.
No, I know, but like imagine if we're going through something and we're like, dang, we need to talk through this. Maybe it would be beneficial for us to put on a camera to see even like our body language, to see how we communicate with each other.
True.
Of course, we'll never post it. We could delete it right after watching it. But for educational purposes, that might be helpful for us to see ourselves outside of ourselves, how we will once we edit this, And we don't like want to perceive ourselves even like as like a nasty type of person. Like, so I'm not going to want to watch back and be like, dang, look at me not being understanding at all. Right. So it might make you be more aware.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a really interesting idea. I think that there's some fascination to that because then it does create that level of I still have to impress. Because it can get harder when we're in a relationship. And again, we share so much. But I mean, it'd be best to do it if you can just do it for each other. Rather than the perception. But you start wherever you need to start.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I feel like it would be for each other too, because I wouldn't want her to see how nasty.
I feel that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm sure you wouldn't want me to see that too. Like, I don't know. It could be something we could talk about it later, see if we want to try that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Keep talking.
Coming up with ideas and things that could work for us. I mean, and obviously that would just be like a practice thing. It wouldn't be like we would do that all the time, but it might create some type of understanding that we didn't have before.
And then if you felt like posting it, you could.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Because this is educational.
Make sure you guys follow Shan. This was amazing. I'm glad you guys were here. Ezee Gang, we love you guys so much.
Give us some comments below.
Yes, please.
Hopefully something that you heard today is going to help you in any type of relationship that you're in. And we'll see you guys in the next video. We love you.
Yes, I loved it. Y'all. That was really good. I said everything that I needed to say throughout the course of these videos, so I'm not going to hold us up any further. But I will say, once again, thank you to Ezee and Natalie for being so transparent, bold, and brave, and allowing everyone to, have a bird's eye view of what's going on in their relationship, and just being open to trying to resolve what's going on between them in front of a public audience. I'm sure that only adds pressure to the situation, but they're handling it. They're handling it gracefully. So, with that being said, Keep it respectful in the comments. You know what I'm saying? Keep it respectful on Ezee and Natalie's page. Keep it respectful on my page. And respect each other. And yeah, let's talk about it. I want to hear you guys' opinions of what I said, what you thought, what you perceived, and what you observed. I would love to hear. So let's talk about it in the comments below. With that being said, Solicit Nation, if you guys enjoyed this reaction as much as I did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below. Don't be afraid to share. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you can be notified every single time I upload. And if you've been here before, then you already know I gotta hit y'all with the deuces.
People are crazy. People are crazy. People are crazy. Crazy. People are crazy.